Virat Kohli. We all know the name. The record-smashing batsman, the super intense captain, the global superstar. But who's the guy behind that persona? So today, we're going to go beyond the boundary, and we'll use his own words to explore the sides of his life you don't always see, from the jokes in the locker room to the absolutely relentless discipline that makes him who he is.
And right from the jump, he sets the tone for us. When he was asked which version of him showed up for the interview, the polished professional athlete or the deli boy, his answer was instant. This is his default setting. And that's our key, really, to understanding the authentic, unfiltered person we're about to get to know.
So this is the central idea, right? On one hand, you've got the professional we see in front of the cameras. But on the other, you've got the deli boy. And it's right there, in the gap between these two, that we find the real story. To find that default setting, our first stop has to be the inner sanctum, the Indian cricket team's dressing room. This is where the guards come down, where the real personalities come out, and trust me, it is not all serious strategy meetings. So what's the soundtrack like? Forget your typical gym playlist. According to Kohli, the vibe is kept alive with a constant stream of Punjabi music, all coming from his iPod. He jokes that Hardik Pandya has an iPod too, but it's just full of English songs where he only knows the beat and none of the words. So, Punjabi music wins. And that Punjabi influence is just everywhere. So for a little bit of cultural context, a patola is a good-looking Punjabi woman. It's just a small taste of the kind of flavor and the language that makes the vibe inside that dressing room so unique. You know, Kohli has some absolutely brilliant descriptions for his teammates. He calls Hardik Pandya a lost soul, basically someone who just says whatever pops into his head. The best example? In a hurry, he once called the legendary spinner Ravi Chandran Ashwin Ravi Kashyap Ashwin. Kohli says Hardik has a great heart, but just zero filter.
And then there's Rohit Sharma, who Kohli paints as this total paradox. On the field, he's a genius who looks like he has an extra second and a half to play every ball. But off the field, he's so forgetful that he's left behind his iPad, his phone, even his passport. The team bus literally will not move until the logistics manager gives the all clear that Rohit has all his stuff.
And this right here, this quote just perfectly captures the kind of respect Rohit commands. When a young Kohli first saw him bat, after hearing all the hype, his reaction was just pure awe. He said he just slumped into the sofa, totally silenced. What a powerful way to describe that on-field genius we were just talking about.
Okay, we absolutely cannot talk about characters without mentioning Shikhar Dhawan. In one match, Dhawan was trying to say a young player was trying to get into his good books, but what came out was that the player was trying to get into his notebooks. Apparently, the entire slipcordon was in splits, and Kohli was just rolling on the ground laughing.
But you know what? The notebook story might not even be the best one. I mean, how on earth do you accidentally become the chief guest for a huge event that you have absolutely no memory of ever agreeing to?
Well, somehow Shikhar Dhawan managed it. He took a call while he was stuck in traffic, mumbled something like, yeah, call me later, and just hung up. The organizer took that as a yes, printed invitation cards, and booked him a flight. When the guy called back to confirm everything, a totally confused Shikhar just kept asking, brother, but who are you? So while his friends were at a New Year's party in Delhi, Shikhar was on a stage in Mumbai. Incredible. Okay, so for all that laughter and all the casual fun, there's a completely different side to this world. An intense, almost unbelievable level of discipline that fuels all their success. This is the champion's mindset.
And honestly, the best way to understand that discipline is to first understand what's being sacrificed. When asked about his ultimate cheat meal, Kohli doesn't even hesitate. And it's so specific. Chole bhature from Ram's in Rajouri Garden. And, he says, you have to eat it there, at the shop, when it's fresh. That kind of desire makes his sacrifice feel so much more real.
So how long had it been since he'd eaten his other favorite, butter chicken, at the time of this interview? 4 years. Just let that sink in for a minute. 4 years without one of your favorite foods. That is some serious dedication. And that same dedication carries right over to his training. When asked about his long gym sessions, he confirms that in the off-season, he might combine 2 sessions into a single 4-hour workout. The work ethic is just on another level. See, it's not just about what he avoids. It's about the precision of what he actually consumes. This is his typical breakfast.
It's like a calculated formula of protein, healthy fats, and nutrients, all designed for peak performance. Every single meal is part of the plan.
Now, you don't build that kind of discipline in a vacuum, right? A huge part of Kohli's journey as both a player and as a leader was shaped by one of the most important relationships in his entire career, his connection with the legend, MS Dhoni. And nothing illustrates their bond better than this. He describes a level of trust that is so absolute that when they're batting together and Dhoni calls for a second run, Kohli doesn't even have to look. He says he just closes his eyes and goes, because he knows Dhoni's judgment is perfect. And that trust wasn't just about running between the wickets, it went all the way up to leadership. Kohli openly calls having Dhoni there during his early years as captain a blessing. He says that, 8 or 9 times out of 10, whatever Dhoni suggested was right. It just shows this seamless transition of power that was built on some really deep mutual respect. But it wasn't all serious, high-stakes stuff. Kohli remembers telling Dhoni a story right in the middle of a game about a young player at his academy. When Kohli, as the captain, asked the kid which end he wanted to bowl from, the kid, who was from a place called Najafgarh, innocently replied, "Brother, from Najafgarh." He said Dhoni just couldn't stop laughing. It's a great little story that shows the human connection underneath all that on-field intensity. So, we've seen the Delhi boy in the dressing room and the hyper-disciplined champion in the gym. How do these two sides actually come together? Well, it all boils down to one simple but really powerful concept.
And this is it. This is the whole philosophy in a nutshell. Why go 4 years without butter chicken? Why spend 4 hours in the gym? Because the difference between an easy catch and a near miss that's called a great effort is a fraction of a second. The diet, the sleep, the training, it's all designed to win those tiny, tiny margins.
I mean, that's the mindset of someone who operates right on the edge of what's possible. And it's a powerful idea that goes way, way beyond cricket. So it kind of leaves us with one final question for you. In your own life, in your own field, are you training for that extra second?